Low-carb fatigue can feel like your body's battery suddenly drops to 10%. The good news is the fastest fixes are usually simple checks, not willpower. Most people assume they need more carbs, but the first thing to suspect is fluid and mineral balance. When you cut carbs, your body stores less glycogen, and glycogen holds water. So you lose water fast, and with it electrolytes like sodium and potassium. That can show up as headaches, dizziness, heavy legs, and brain fog. Before you change your whole diet, run a quick mental checklist. Are you drinking more but peeing more too? Are workouts suddenly harder at the same pace? Do you feel better right after a salty snack? If yes, you're not weak. You're likely under-replaced on basics. In this guide, you'll go step by step through the most common causes, in the order that usually resolves symptoms fastest. Start with the boring stuff first. Moving to slide 2. First check. Sodium. Low-carb eating lowers insulin, and that signals your kidneys to dump more sodium. If you don't replace it, your blood volume can drop a bit, and you feel tired, lightheaded, or flat. This is why some people feel instantly better after broth or a salty meal. A practical test is simple. Add a salty cup of broth, or salt your food more intentionally for a day, and notice if energy and headaches improve. For many people, that's the quickest win. This is not about extreme salt loading. It's about matching your new baseline. If you sweat a lot, train hard, or use sauna, your needs can be higher. If you have blood pressure or kidney concerns, this is a place to be cautious and individualized. But as a general troubleshooting step, sodium is often number one. If you fix sodium and nothing changes, that's useful data. It tells you to move to the next check instead of guessing. Moving to slide 3. Second check. Potassium. Potassium helps nerves and muscles fire normally, and it balances sodium. When people go low carb, they often remove potassium-rich foods without replacing them. If you cut fruit, beans, and starchy sides, but you don't add leafy greens, avocado, or other potassium sources, you can drift low. The feeling can be subtle: muscle weakness, cramps, twitching, or a kind of can't-get-going sensation. The fix usually starts with food. Build meals around potassium-forward ingredients: spinach, mushrooms, salmon, yogurt if you tolerate it, and avocado. Also remember that dehydration makes potassium issues feel worse because concentration changes can irritate muscles. Supplements exist, but they're not the first move for most people. Food is slower but steadier, and it comes with other nutrients that help energy. If cramps show up mostly at night or after training, potassium is a strong suspect to check next. Moving to slide 4. Third check. Magnesium. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of reactions, including energy production and muscle relaxation. Low-carb fatigue sometimes isn't energy at all. It's tension, poor sleep, and recovery debt. Magnesium issues can show up as restless sleep, tight calves, eyelid twitching, irritability, or feeling wired but tired. Food sources include pumpkin seeds, nuts, cacao, and leafy greens. The catch is that many people eat less overall when they go low-carb, so total magnesium intake can drop. Also, heavy training, stress, and lots of caffeine can increase demand. If your fatigue is paired with poor sleep quality, magnesium is a smart checkpoint. Don't expect a dramatic overnight change, but you might notice smoother sleep and fewer cramps within days to weeks. If digestive sensitivity is an issue, that's another reason to prioritize food first. Think of magnesium as the recovery mineral. When it's low, everything feels harder. Moving to slide 5. Next check, are you simply undereating? This is extremely common. Low-carb meals can be very filling, and people accidentally cut calories hard. The result feels like low-carb fatigue, but it's just low fuel. A quick way to spot it is to look at patterns. Are you cold more often? Is your mood lower? Are you waking up early and unable to fall back asleep? Is your workout performance sliding week after week? Those can be signs you're not getting enough total energy. The fix is not to abandon low-carb. It's to build meals with a clear protein anchor and enough fat and fiber to meet your needs. Add an extra serving of olive oil, nuts, eggs, or fattier fish, or simply increase portion size at one meal and see if energy improves over 3 days. If you're losing weight very fast without trying, that's another clue. Low carb should feel stable, not like you're running on fumes. Moving to slide 6. Now check protein, because too little protein can feel like fatigue, and too much can also feel rough at first. If protein is too low, you may feel weak, hungry between meals, and sore for longer after training. If protein is very high while carbs are very low, some people feel sluggish or nauseated, especially if fat is also low. The goal is a balanced low-carb plate: protein for structure, fat for energy, and non-starchy plants for micronutrients. A practical approach is to keep protein consistent at each meal rather than swinging from tiny to huge. Also, choose protein sources you digest well. For some people, very lean meats are harder on appetite and energy when carbs are low because there's not enough dietary fat to carry the day. If you're unsure, simplify for a week. Pick 2 or 3 core meals you tolerate well, repeat them, and see if fatigue settles. Consistency makes troubleshooting easier. Moving to slide 7. Another fast check is hydration timing, not just total water. When you drink lots of plain water while your sodium is low, you can dilute yourself further. That can worsen headaches and fatigue. The goal is balance: fluids plus electrolytes, especially around exercise, heat, or long work days. A simple strategy is to pair water with meals that are properly salted, and to use broth or an electrolyte drink when you're sweating. Also notice your urine color and frequency. Very clear urine all day can be a hint you're overdoing plain water relative to minerals. On the other hand, dark urine and thirst suggests you're behind on fluids. If you wake up with a dry mouth and feel tired early, you might be mildly dehydrated overnight. Small adjustments matter. You don't need complicated tracking. You need a repeatable pattern that keeps energy steady from morning to afternoon. Moving to slide 8. Next, consider carb level and activity mismatch. Some people feel great very low carb at rest, but feel drained when they add intense training. That's not failure. It's physiology. High-intensity work relies more on glycogen, which is stored carbohydrate in muscle. If your training is heavy intervals, sprints, or long hard sessions, you may need a slightly higher carb target, especially around workouts. That can still be low carb, just not ultra low. Try adding a small portion of carbs in the meal before or after training, something simple and easy to digest. Then watch performance and recovery for a week. If fatigue disappears and workouts feel normal again, you've found a lever. If you're mostly doing walking and strength training with longer rests, you may not need that adjustment. The key is matching your carb level to your output, not copying someone else's number. Moving to slide 9. Now check sleep, because low carb can change sleep in both directions. Some people sleep better with steadier blood sugar. Others struggle, especially if calories are low or stress is high. If you fall asleep fine but wake up at 3 a.m. alert, that can be a sign your overall intake is too low or that your evening meal isn't supporting overnight needs. Another clue is waking with a racing mind and a light, shallow sleep. The fix can be simple. Eat enough at dinner, include some salt, and don't let your last meal be tiny. For some people, a small portion of carbs at dinner improves sleep quality without derailing low-carb goals. Also watch caffeine. Low-carb plus high caffeine can feel like energy, but it's often borrowed energy. If fatigue is worst after a bad night, prioritize sleep hygiene before you change macros again. Moving to slide 10. Another overlooked factor is digestion. When you change your diet fast, your gut has to adapt. If you suddenly increase fat, certain foods can feel heavy, and you might feel tired after meals. If you suddenly increase fiber from vegetables and nuts, you may get bloating, which can also drain energy. The goal is to simplify and stabilize. Pick a few low-carb meals with ingredients you tolerate well, and keep them consistent for several days. Then add variety slowly. Also consider meal size. A very large, high-fat meal can cause a food coma feeling in some people, even if the diet is healthy overall. Smaller meals or a lighter lunch can help. If fatigue is paired with nausea, reflux, or persistent stomach discomfort, treat that as a real signal, not something to push through. Comfort matters because it affects sleep, movement, and consistency. Moving to slide 11. Let's talk about the keto flu window because timing matters. If fatigue hits in the first few days to 2 weeks, it's often adaptation plus electrolytes. Your body is shifting enzymes and fuel preference, and that can feel sluggish. This is where sodium, potassium, magnesium, and adequate calories make the biggest difference. But if you've been low carb for months and fatigue is getting worse, that's a different pattern. Then you should look harder at sleep, total intake, training load, and whether your diet has become too restrictive. Another long-term issue is micronutrient variety. If your low-carb plan is basically the same few foods, you might be missing key vitamins and minerals that support energy metabolism. The takeaway is simple. Don't treat all low-carb fatigue as the same problem. Use the timeline. Early fatigue usually responds to basics. Persistent fatigue needs a broader audit. Moving to slide 12. Here's a practical fix-it-fast order you can follow without overthinking. Step 1. Salt your meals more consistently and try a cup of broth. Step 2. Add potassium-forward foods daily, like leafy greens and avocado. Step 3. Support magnesium through food and prioritize sleep quality. Step 4. Confirm you're eating enough total calories, especially if you're active. Step 5. Match carbs to your training, using a small targeted portion if needed. Do one change at a time for 2 or 3 days so you can actually learn what helped. If you stack 5 changes at once, you'll feel better or worse and have no idea why. Also, keep notes: energy at 10 a.m., mood at 3 p.m., workout performance, and sleep. This turns troubleshooting into a simple experiment. Most low-carb fatigue resolves when the basics are handled in the right order. And if it doesn't, that's valuable information to bring to a professional conversation. Moving to slide 13. Finally, know when low-carb fatigue is a red flag. If you have fainting, chest pain, severe shortness of breath, confusion, or symptoms that rapidly worsen, that's not a nutrition experiment. Also, if fatigue is persistent with hair loss, major sleep disruption, or inability to recover from normal activity, it's worth getting a more complete evaluation. Nutrition can contribute, but it's not the only possible cause. The goal of this video is to help you check the most common, most fixable issues first, especially electrolytes, hydration balance, and total intake. If you want a simple next step, pick one change from the checklist and test it for 3 days. Then move to the next. For a quick discussion prompt, I'm curious about your experience. Comment with your main symptom: A, headaches and dizziness, or B, heavy legs and low workout energy. And if you want more practical troubleshooting guides like this, subscribe. This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Metabolism first. Everything else follows.